They say happiness is found in the little things, the morning laughter of children, the warmth of a familiar embrace, the quiet moments when everything feels just right. And for the longest time, I believed I had it all. My life wasn't extravagant, nor was it the stuff of fairy tales, but it was mine, and it was enough. I had a loving husband, James, who, despite his past, one tangled with the remnants of a failed marriage, had built a beautiful life with me. I had 2 boys, Lucas and Ethan, who filled our suburban home with noise, chaos, and joy. And I had Claire, my best friend since college, a woman who knew my deepest fears, my greatest joys, and the quiet struggles I never spoke aloud. We had our routines, family dinners, weekend soccer games, late-night whispers of love. Claire was always there, part of our world. Her presence so natural it was like she belonged. But life has a cruel way of disguising its storms. The cracks had been forming, I just hadn't noticed. Not yet. It started with the small things. James, once so present, began to pull away. He came home late more often, his kisses on my forehead feeling less like a habit of love and more like an obligation. His phone, always within reach, became an extension of his hand, messages typed quickly, screen angled away from my view. "It's just work," he'd say, flashing that practiced, reassuring smile, and I believed him. Because why wouldn't I? Then there was Claire. The woman who once shared every insignificant detail of her day, the latest book she read, a fight with her husband, the new dress she wanted, was suddenly distant. Our conversations turned shallow, filled with half-hearted laughs and eyes that flickered away too quickly. And yet, I dismissed it all. I told myself I was imagining things, that marriage had its ups and downs, that Claire had her own troubles. But unease has a way of creeping into your bones, whispering, truths even when you refuse to hear them, and soon I would hear them. It was a Tuesday, a perfectly normal, painfully ordinary day, until it wasn't. My phone buzzed with an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. Room 214, the Regal Hotel. "You deserve the truth." That was all it said. No name, no explanation, just cold, damning words. My heart pounded, my hands shook, but I moved. I called my neighbor to watch Ethan. I grabbed my car keys. I drove with a mind fogged by dread. The hotel was nice, not extravagant, but discreet. The kind of place meant for stolen moments, for secrets wrapped in silk sheets. I hesitated outside the door. My pulse roared in my ears. Then, with trembling fingers, I knocked. A voice, one I knew too well, called out from inside. "Come in. What's taking you so long?" I spilled my wine. "Claire." My stomach lurched. I pushed open the door, stepping into a nightmare. James stood on the balcony, laughing into his phone. Claire lay sprawled on the bed, her dress slightly askew, the sheets crumpled with familiarity. I bent down, pretending, to wipe the spill, my body numb. Then Claire sighed. A sigh not of frustration but of contentment. "You know he's the only one who can satisfy me," she murmured, stretching lazily. "I've always been so jealous of her perfect little life." The words sliced through me, raw and cruel. I didn't move. I couldn't. James turned, his face lighting up at the sight of Claire. Not me, not his wife. Claire. The weight of it crushed me, my lungs tightening, my hands trembling. I stumbled out of the room, unseen, unheard. Outside, the cool night air hit my face, but it did nothing to stop the nausea. I doubled over, retching in the bushes, my body rejecting the reality I had just witnessed. I wanted to scream, to cry, to break something. Instead, I drove home. I put my son to bed. I sat in the darkness, waiting. When James walked in, I was ready. He saw my face, and the mask slipped. The calm, the lies, it all shattered. "Who told you?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I laughed. A bitter, hollow sound. That's what you care about? Who told me? James sank onto the couch, his hands running through his hair. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. I cut him off. No, James, it wasn't supposed to happen at all. The pain in his eyes meant nothing to me. And then my phone buzzed again. A video link. An anonymous sender. And suddenly the betrayal wasn't just mine to bear. It was the world's James and Claire. Together. Intimate. Exposed for everyone to see. The affair was no longer a secret. It was a scandal. I knew without a doubt who had done it. Mark, Claire's husband. His revenge was swift and brutal. The video spread like wildfire. Everyone knew. Friends, family, co-workers. James was ruined. Claire was humiliated. Mark, despite his victory, was just as broken as I was. I called him. Take it down, I pleaded. Think of the kids. He was silent. For a long time. Then finally he sighed. I don't want to hurt them. The video disappeared, but the damage remained. James came home one last time. Not to beg for forgiveness, not to fight, but to end it. He placed the divorce papers on the, cell. I don't deserve you, he said simply. For once, I agreed. I moved into a small apartment with Ethan. Lucas stayed with his father, but I saw him often. Claire lost everything, her marriage, her money, even her job when her name was linked to a corporate scandal. Karma, it seemed, had a long memory. And me, I was healing. Slowly. Not just for myself, but for my sons. For the future I refused to let be defined by betrayal. One day, love might find me again. But for now, I was enough. And for the first time in a long time, that was all I needed. Have you ever experienced betrayal? How did you move forward? Share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more real-life stories of resilience and redemption.